I love my brother more than I can ever possibly relay to you. Growing up, he was always a straight shooter, but I also know that I don't have to tell you that. By now, you know what he stands for and exactly what he's all about. He's a leader. He's no nonsense. He's better at the microphone than I am, apparently. He doesn't ever make excuses, and most importantly, he puts nothing and no one ahead of doing what is right for the people of our great state. Yeah. Thank you. I think I botched the big line. The last thing he definitely doesn't stand for is to have his younger brother overstaying his welcome on the stage. So before I get screamed at, let me get the heck out of here. But it is my honor, and I never thought I'd be able to do this, but it is my honor to introduce a great young man, my godson, Andrew Christie.
Today was a very special day for me. For the first time, I got to vote for my dad. It was almost fitting for me because there I was at 19, I finally got to support him in a tangible way. And he's been supporting me my whole life. There is one other special person in our family who we wouldn't be here today without, and that's my mom. Along with raising a family of 4, her whole life, she's been a leader in her industry. And it's pretty incredible how she's been able to provide support for our family and support for my dad as he tries to win this thing one more time. So let me introduce to you my mom, the First Lady of New Jersey, Mary Pat Christie.
Well, that's a fun experience. That's a great experience having your oldest son introduce you. So what a great crowd. This is really wonderful. So it certainly is a family affair tonight. We have not only Andrew, of course, who you had a chance to meet, but Sarah, our second oldest, Bridget, and Patrick. We're all here supporting their father. So we truly are grateful to know that none of this would have happened without all of you. It's actually been a pretty wild ride for us for the last 4 years. I can say that we as a family have had some amazing experiences and met some larger-than-life people. Even though we have gotten to do some fantastic things representing New Jersey all over the country, I think I can speak for the entire family that we really have enjoyed getting to meet, know, and work with the amazing people right here at home in New Jersey. The governor's done a great job promoting our state and making the people of our state proud. He took over when things were a mess, but balanced the budget without raising taxes. He took on the challenge of reforming education to make sure every child in our state gets the education they deserve. All right. And he led us through, of course, some of the worst disasters in our history. Hurricanes Irene and Sandy. As we travel around and we visit communities and businesses impacted by Sandy, we see the resiliency of our fellow citizens. The stories are harrowing, but they also show the resiliency of our people and the spirit of our state. Chris has been a great leader, and time again, people come up to me and say they aren't giving up because they know their governor isn't giving up on them. That's the great thing about Chris. He doesn't give up, he doesn't back down, and he is the leader that New Jersey needs for 4 more years. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you my husband and our governor, Chris Christie.
Thank you. Thank you. Sure, all right. I agree. Hey, thank you first to my great family up here with me. I heard Mary Pat say in the introduction that this is a family affair, and it really is. I want to thank my brother Todd, my sister Dawn, who are here tonight, my dad, Fran, and of course, the group right up here. Mary Pat, Andrew, Sarah, Patrick, and Bridget. I could not do any of what I do every day without their love and support, so thank you guys very much. You know, we've gone through so much together since we were together 4 years ago, celebrating a primary victory not far from here. And it strikes me that standing on this stage tonight, given where I've come from, it's really hard to imagine everything that's happened. And a kid who was born in Newark to two middle-class parents who were struggling to make ends meet, who scrapped money together, $1,000 from each one of my grandmothers, to put a down payment on a house in Livingston, to be able to make sure that me and Todd and Dawn got the best public education we possibly could. And I know that my dad here tonight feels a great sense of pride of everything that's happened over the last 4 years. And I know that my mom's watching tonight as well, and she feels the same sense of pride of what's happened. And you know, the message I want to bring to New Jersey over the next 4 years is that if it can happen for me, it can happen for anybody. Anybody. There's kids all across New Jersey today who have dreams of their own in all different kinds of aspects of life. And the job of a governor is to try to make sure that you use all the levers of government that you can, and to make sure that you have a growing and vital private sector that helps people be able to realize each and every one of those dreams, no matter what they are. That's what the next 4 years are going to be committed to. Four years ago this November, I stood on stage with my family and with New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor, Kim Guadagno, and we made a promise. We said that starting the very next day, we were going to turn Trenton upside down. And 4 years later, they're still shaking. They're still shaking. Remember everybody what we inherited. Remember a government that was billions of dollars in deficit and tens of billions of dollars in debt. 10% of the public unemployed. 115 tax and fee increases over the 8 years before I became governor. New Jersey was the highest taxed state in the nation, and our citizens were so without hope that in the week before the election, only 26% of New Jerseyans thought the place where they lived, the place where they were raising their children, the place where they were taking care of their grandchildren was moving in the right direction. People said this was going to be an impossible job, that New Jersey could not be turned around, that it was a state where people were going to flee from because its best days were yesterday. Well, I knew in my heart, because this is where I was born and raised, that those best days were not yesterday. And all we needed to do was look each other in the eye and tell each other the truth about what needed to be done. We needed to make government smaller. We needed to lower taxes. We needed to cut spending. And we needed to empower the private sector to grow again in New Jersey. And they said, there's no way you remember.
4 more years, 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 4 more years.
No, they said it was impossible. They said you couldn't do it. And they also told us that, well, geez, you just weren't specific enough. Geez, how are you going to do that? How are you going to make government spend less? And I don't know. It didn't seem that hard to me. So I just looked at him and I said, here's how we're going to do it. Spend less. And so now, 4 years later, we are still spending less money in state government than John Corzine and his crew spent 6 years ago. That's the way you get it done. Spend less of the people's money. They said there's no way you could take on the pension and benefit debt that we had in this state for public employees. They said that the unions were just much too powerful and that you couldn't take them on, Governor, and no governor would take them on and survive. Yet together, Republicans and right-thinking Democrats came together, and we are going to save the taxpayers of New Jersey $130 billion over the next 30 years and save the pension and benefit system. We did it because we stood up together. They said that New Jersey's private sector economy was a memory, that it would never come back. Yet today we stand here with 140,000 new private sector jobs since we took office. We've turned the Corzine era of joblessness around, and we're putting New Jerseyans right back to work. And now, the challenges ahead of us are to continue that momentum, to make sure that more and more people can realize their dreams by getting a good paying job, to pay their mortgage, put food on the table, support their families, and take them for a week to the Jersey Shore, especially this summer. But there's also another challenge for those of us tonight in the Republican Party. Our party suffered great losses last November. And it's a party around the country that has felt at times since that day dispirited. Remember, we were confronted with the same challenge in 2009. In 2008, the Democrats had won the presidency. They had won the House of Representatives. They had won the United States Senate. And people said Republicans can't win anymore around the country. And then 2009 happened. And they came to New Jersey and they said, can we do it? Can we actually show the country that Republicans can win again as a party? And here in New Jersey and with Bob McDonnell in Virginia, we won those governorships, and we sent our party on a ride that helped to take back the House of Representatives in 2010, and now 30 governorships in Republican hands across the country. Now I wish with all my heart that the election had gone differently last November. What we now know is that we're not confronted with the same burden that we were confronted with 4 years ago. Now we're presented with an opportunity once again to make an example for America right here in New Jersey, to show that real, strong, principled, honest leadership can bring people together and lead a state out of debt and deficit and to prosperity again. Thank you. And if it can happen here in New Jersey, and we have watched it and lived it, and remember, 4 years ago, 26% of the people in New Jersey thought their state was going in the right direction. Today, after cutting budgets, cutting taxes, reforming pensions, reforming government, 60% of New Jerseyans know we're going in the right direction. And so now, everybody, in 2013, beginning tonight, America will be watching. America will be watching to see if this election is going to be about tomorrow or if this election is going to be about yesterday. Our opponents want to make it about yesterday. They want to drag our state back to the bad old days. They want to drag our state back to higher taxes. They want to drag our state back to bigger and more expensive government. They want to drag our state back to a time when the unions rule the people and not the other way around. What we want to do is to create a whole new coalition, not just of Republicans, but of independents and of right-thinking Democrats, not just of people in the suburbs, but of people in the cities, not just of people of wealth, but of people who aspire to wealth. We can do it together, and we will do it together. This November, we'll do it together. If we work hard together, this won't be that difficult, because what we have on our side is the truth and honesty, straightforwardness, and just looking people in the eye and telling them it like it is. They told us 4 years ago that that kind of leadership would never work in New Jersey, that the people of New Jersey were not ready to hear the truth, that we had to continue to sing them a sweet song that wasn't true, but would just make them feel better. See, I feel much differently because I was born here and I was raised here. And 27 years ago, I dragged Mary Pat here kicking and screaming from Pennsylvania. And now there's no more of a New Jersey girl in New Jersey than New Jersey's First Lady. And I know this because this is where we're raising our 4 children. And what I know and what I believe in my heart is what this campaign in the end is going to be all about. That New Jersey's tomorrows are filled with much more potential than our yesterdays. That New Jersey's tomorrows are filled with better jobs. New Jersey's tomorrows are filled with a better education for our children. New Jersey's tomorrows are filled with a better opportunity for all those who come to our state wanting to work hard and make a difference. That if we work together and tell each other the truth, that New Jersey will lead America to a new era of honesty, responsibility, and prosperity, and we'll do it together. So thank you. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for tonight. And thank you, even more importantly, for the most amazing 4 years of my life. Every day, I walk into the State House. And for the last year, every day, I've been walking through the front door. And when I walk through the front door and walk through that beautiful rotunda and then get to the glass doors, I look at them. And on those doors, it says, Chris Christie, Governor. And I tell you something, I look at it every day and I shake my head. And I say, how the hell did this happen? And you know what? If you're really quiet on the days when the legislature's in session, if you're really quiet, you can hear them saying the same thing. How the hell did this happen? Well, tonight it's time to tell the legislature, it's time to tell the Democrats, it's time to tell all the citizens of this state how the hell it happened. Here's how it happened. A group of people with a strong will, with a strong set of principles, with a belief in each other and the state where we live, looked at each other and said, it is time to tell each other the truth and fight for a better tomorrow for our children. That's what I'm going to do if you give me the chance for the next 4 years. Thank you all very much.